Ew.
That's right.
Woo!
That's right. You look.
You look. You
Woo!
salute. You salute that.
Oh, welcome in,
Yes.
everybody. What
Yes.
and of course, right at the top, in its rightful place, Nations League.
Oh, of
Please
course.
believe that. Please
Of
believe
course.
that.
The most prestigious.
We are back. America is back. Back
Woo!
in our
America never left, baby.
rightful place amongst kings. That's a
Rightful
great
place among kings. I'm not
as
sweating
a
nearly enough. I need
nervous,
to be
sweaty
like
man once said.
pouring. Yeah. I need to be pouring sweat if I'm going to do that.
Oh, what a weekend. What a weekend in sports. Of course, the football, uh, UFC pay-per-view. What a weekend for Vegas, too. The NASCAR was
Oh, I
there.
know.
UFC, home game for the Raiders. And still undefeated Raiders.
UNLV, the Rebs, Ronnie's Rebs.
UNLV, Rebels stay running. Uh, and of course, the Ryder Cup, which brought me great joy.
Oh, oh.
Happy to have you guys here. Just, hit us in the comments. Call us at the link, which is active. Please do believe that. Tyler, how was your weekend?
Well, my weekend was good, man. Outside of having to wrangle up some dogs from a neighborhood multiple times during the weekend, all in all, not bad though, man. Lots of look, we'll get into it. Started out with a great, well, not great for one half, but a great second half of a Saturday morning soccer game. Fantastic ending to that. Roll right into college football all day. Always a good thing. NFL all day Sunday. Red zone, good red zone day. I mean, and of course, Ryder Cup, US, just taking back what is rightfully theirs, really.
That's right. As you know, we invented the game.
That's right. In such dominant fashion. Man, just absolutely wall-to-wall great sports weekend, Ron. How was your weekend?
Absolutely fantastic.
We will be on that, by the way. We are going to be getting to that.
Respect is deserved and will be given. I don't want to lose any fingers or anything, so I don't want to cross up Arkansas Slim. But great weekend. Shout out also. Happy birthday to producer Tanaya's mom, Kathy.
Yes, Kathy. Yes.
Had a little barbecue out at the lake yesterday, and Saturday night, which it was like I knew, but I didn't know. I didn't know until like a couple hours before because producer Tanaya actually purchased these tickets in the before time.
On Instagram.
And lo and behold, we both realized at like 4:30 p.m. Oh, it's tonight, the rescheduled one. So if you must know how my Saturday night went.
Hell, I feel all right on Saturday night.
Chula Vista.
Hey, I fucks with Detroit Rock City, both the song and the movie.
Oh man, and also what an experience! If you have a chance, do see Kiss. I'm not like mega Kiss fan by any means, but has it ever really been about the music? No, it's about the show.
Never.
Gene he did the blood spitting. People are going on zip lines. Producer Tanaya tried to bash me because I wore a different Raider shirt. I was like, well, you got to wear something black, dude. We're going to Kiss. She's like, oh, you going to wear a Raider shirt? Whatever. Within 45 seconds of walking in, at least 5 people were like, Raiders! I was like, see? It's like going to the game. Like, these are my people here. Just, let me do what I do when I do what I do.
Just look at the face paint. Like, there's obviously going to be a massive crossover between the Kiss Army and the Raider Nation.
It's not about the actual performance, much like the Raiders.
No.
It's about being around your people. It's always about that.
Oh, that was so well said. That was
Kiss
absolutely
Army,
perfectly
Raider
said.
Nation, right here. You need anything, come to me. But they got after it, though. They did get after it. Gene and Paul, the only two, still active members. The other guys aren't dead.
Right.
They're just not participating.
Right.
But and doing things, in platform boots and things that probably 70-year-old people should not be doing.
Right.
Gene went up on like a 40-foot riser at one point, did the blood spitting thing. Paul did like a zip line over the crowd to another stage, did like 3 songs out, and it was spectacular. Fireworks, lasers, whatever you want.
The thing is, at age 70, he doesn't actually need blood capsules to do that anymore. His body just naturally breaking down.
Oh, just dentures are bleeding a little bit.
I guess that's my cue. Let's go up. Let's go up the platform.
No, it was.
That's awesome. I would love to see a kid. Like whatever. I like some of Kiss's stuff, but I think their concerts look absolutely amazing.
No, they have a couple notable songs, but and even Paul made a joke about it.
Did they do Beth? Did they play Beth?
We're now in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They don't want us in the Hall of Fame, but you wanted us in the Hall of Fame, Chula Vista.
Why is he Dr. Roxo?
He is. He was doing it like that the entire time. I don't know. It's like a Kiss show thing. Man. And really the best way to see it is when you didn't realize, oh wait, that's tonight, until like 3 hours before.
Like a last minute kind of surprise.
Show up with no expectations. Tickets already bought. All right, well, they include parking. Cool on that. Man, what am I going to see at the Kiss show? I'm just going to show up with my Raider shirt. It was a sea of love. A sea of love. Beautiful. And also, Kiss is for the children. I will say that. A lot of, it was an all-ages show. It wasn't like vulgar over the top. I mean, if spitting blood is not vulgar, but it's just kind of par for the course with Kiss.
Yeah.
It wasn't like spitting blood on people. It wasn't like Guar.
So he didn't have like a super soaker just shooting blood out into the crowd.
Yeah, no, it wasn't like vulgar or anything. It was just like, all right, this is what I expected, Kiss. Well played. Nice. Well played.
And as you said, they're like 70 now, so the fact they're doing that is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah, it might be your last chance. That's all I'm saying. So that was spectacular on Saturday night. And real quick, a couple side notes before we really get into the football. Obviously, Ryder Cup. We have the fight doctor also going to be checking in with us a little bit later. Well, I really only have the one thing that I wanted to hit on in the side pieces. So I won't even hit you with the intro on that. But I did see today was the Brooklyn Nets Media Day. And on the Zoom call, well, I mean, you could probably tell by the voice, but David Letterman was a media participant asking Kevin Durant a few questions, and it was very peak Dave.
Dave from Basketball Digest. Kevin, KD, why do people call you KD? Can I call you KD? Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
My first name is Kevin.
Right.
And my second name, my last name is Durant with a D.
KD. This year, what percentage do you plan on giving on the court? 90, 95, 100, 110? What are we looking at?
110.
110.
There you have it. 110% from KD.
Perfect.
As let's mined out of him from Dave at the Basketball Tribune.
Also, yeah. I'm glad that we finally figured out why he's called KD. Like it. I never knew. Mystery solved.
Did not know until now. The second chunk that I saw, actually, I mean, the third question, first one of this second bit, was my favorite, but there was a nice little tail off at the end as well.
I just got off the phone with the Dolan family, and they said that they're talking to the commissioner now. They're looking at working a contractual deal that will allow you, when you're not playing for the Nets, days off, you'll be able to play for the Knicks. Comments?
All right, Dave, that was the last one.
I'm sorry, was that a comment?
That was it.
How about you? Do you have a comment? Wrap it up. Okay. I'm being told my time is done. Have a great year. What about the Pelicans? When you guys play the Pelicans, does it kind of make you giggle?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's all I got.
He finally cracked him at the end. Like, yes, the
Yeah.
Pelicans is a funny name for a professional team. But shout out to Dave with the Basketball Tribune, one of the great beat writers out there still. That's right. On the NBA beat. So we'll see. I mean, he promised 110% this year. Watch out for the Nets. If that's the case, I mean, 80% KD is pretty good.
That's true. That's true. So does that mean
Olympic scorer?
That means he won't be sitting out any games whatsoever?
Well, he didn't commit to that. I don't know. Let's not go crazy.
Sitting out a game, that's less than 110%.
Well, maybe it takes it down to like 108, and then every other game they play.
And that just makes up for it. Like this game, I'll do 82, but then I'll do like 137 the next game to make up for it.
Well, no Kyrie at the media day. Shocking. This is my shock face.
Yeah, definitely.
But let's get into the meat. Let's get right into it. You know what? Let's hit the Premier League first because it was a great week for our boys.
Okay.
Saved it at the death. Antonio. Woo.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Man, had to have it. So big win for the boys over there. Man, wow. Not really, I'm not even going to really spend a whole lot of time on this because we got so many other things. Either of those teams wins, Chelsea, Man City, you're not going to be blown away.
Sure.
But Aston Villa taking the 3 off Man United and the Ronaldo Renaissance.
Scoring an 87th minute goal. And then did you see the Bruno penalty kick?
I heard it was a tragic miss, but I did not see it.
It nearly went to the top rows in the stands. Like
to the moon.
He missed it that bad. It was even funnier was I saw a clip afterwards. Everybody was kind of congregating around the ball, like, okay, is Bruno or is Ronaldo going to take it? And Villa's goalie was pointing at Ronaldo, saying, "You take it. You take this,
please, for the love of God."
And then Bruno takes it and blasts it pretty much out of the stadium.
Oh. Wow.
Justin Tucker would have been impressed with Bruno's kick. We'll just say that. Spoiler for later.
Nice. And then not a whole, unfortunate for Leicester and Justin, only to get the 1 point. Watford, Newcastle. Hey, we were dancing on Newcastle's grave. They got the point.
Got a point?
And, I mean, really, game of the weekend. I mean, this game was just...
Oh, my God.
Like,
oh man,
on tilt. This game was insane. The Bees, come on, you Bees! At home, yes, I know, but against Liverpool, as we already said on Friday, this is a Champions League aspirational team. Man, Brentford when they tied it, I was like, they're still trying to win. Like, they don't know any other way. Like, they're just going full tilt. There was a great moment at the end of that game, or like maybe 2 minutes away, when Liverpool almost scored the 4th goal. And you just see the two coaches like kind of lock eyes. They're like in the little coaching box. And they were like, I don't even know. Like they both just kind of like retreated back. Like, well, let's just see how this.
We're just gonna enjoy this. Yeah.
This is wild. Like I don't even know what's gonna happen here. But man, what a game.
Yeah, man. I know. I had texted you. I think when it was 2-2, and I was just like, dude, Brentford just does not give a fuck. Like they really don't care who you are. They're just gonna go out there and play their game. Liverpool has, on paper, a great defense. Like they have Virgil van Dijk back. TAA, I know he's more of an attacking guy, but they have a good defense. Brentford just didn't care. Like they were like, fuck it, we're gonna go right at you. And I mean, you can see it, 3 goals. Liverpool gave up 2 the first 4 weeks of the year, and they gave up 3 to Brentford. Like and I know we were kind of half joking about it, but I think we're both kind of serious. Like, West Ham plays Brentford this Saturday or this Sunday, and I'm fucking terrified.
That is a nightmare. That is absolutely the worst possible. They just don't care. Like, there was a mixture, which you rarely see, of like defending, hanging on by a thread, like last ditch, whatever. But then when they got the ball, it wasn't like, okay, let's just kind of kick it sideways. Like, no, they're going.
Go, yeah.
They are actively trying to score. And
they are leads, but they sometimes play defense. Like, and they actually score. Leeds obviously not scoring very much this year.
And also just I don't know, even if I would have to say maybe delusional, but at this point, maybe I can't even say that. Believe that they will score again. Like it's like they're just playing some dudes in the park. Like, all right, we'll get it back. Don't worry. And then they just boom, bomb it down the field on you again and again.
Yeah, no, I mean, you kind of said it earlier. It's a great point. Like when it was 3-3, most teams late in the game with a couple minutes left, 3-3 against Liverpool, you're going to sit back and just be like, hey, we got the point. Brentford's like, no, I think we can get another one, actually. I think we can probably score again.
We could take these fools. They're looking a little tired. And they just never, ever stop coming at you. So what a team. And again, come on, you bees. But
I'm not looking forward to playing them this week.
This is the part where you look away, Justin, or tune out. But Arsenal, I mean, Brentford, clearly the superior team, took Arsenal to the woodshed, and man, they just beat the crap out of your boys. So it's getting to be sort of maybe not the hot seat yet, but the seat is getting warm.
It's warming.
Spurs.
It's warming, and I mean, look, I watched a little bit of or listened to a little bit of TalkSport this weekend, and it is amazing. The entire Spurs fan base has completely turned on Harry Kane by this point in time.
Torpedoed the entire season with his holdout, flirtatious behavior with Man City.
Well, but yeah, man, tough look for Spurs. I mean, it's like Arsenal. I think it scored 2 goals all season. They scored 3 in the first half against Spurs. They were lucky to get that 1 goal from Son in the second half to make it, I guess, relatively competitive.
I hesitate to even say respectable because it was 3-0, and that was like 10 minutes before halftime. That was like, wow. Like, are you guys even did you even show up? Like, did you get off the bus? Because you're getting worked out by a team that has been a joke for everyone else in the league so far, with their own coaching internal whatever power struggle is going on.
And then today, pretty exciting game actually. Crystal Palace and Brighton. Brighton scoring at the death. Neil Maupay with I believe a 95th minute goal on a ridiculous pass from midfield, like an aerial lob from midfield to get Maupay running past defenders and chipped it in. Just absolutely insane. So now Brighton in a 5-way tie for second place. Well, I guess they're technically at 6 because they do the goal differential. But
going on a European tour.
There are 5 teams with 13 points right now, and Brighton is one of them.
Look, it suits us as West Ham fans. Let's get that chaos. Let's get that log jam. Maybe we worm our way through there. But
West Ham's right behind them. They're right behind them in the standings, so I'm not too worried about it.
I don't want to see this separation of like 4 elite teams, which clearly has been shown that there are not at this point. So good for us. Good for Brighton, though. Come on, you Seagulls. So that's the Premier League update. Let's get right into the college football. Arkansas going into Jarrah's world and getting it done against the Aggies.
Yeah, this game wasn't even that close as the score indicates. Okay, at no point in time do I think A&M was going to pose a real threat to Arkansas. Look, they're real deal. I mean, fucking Texas put up 70 points this week, and I don't remember who they played. And Arkansas punched them in the mouth and shut them down. Now they shut down A&M, who admittedly A&M's offense has been pretty bad this year. But Arkansas didn't make it any easier on them. I mean, look, Arkansas has kind of been the joke of the SEC for a while, but they're legit this year, man.
Yeah, I think after this, I believe they're up to like 8 now in the rankings.
There's something like that, yeah.
whatever it is, 8 or 9, but it's the highest they've been since like 2012. So good on them. Keep it going. I know Jarrah's thrilled about that. From last I saw, probably would assume pretty happy about the outcome of tonight's game.
Yeah, I guarantee you he's happy. I just saw what the score is.
All right. Well, we'll get to that shortly. And then, and yes, shout out to Arkansas Slim. Maybe called in a few favors on the Texas A&M team. You know, guys that weren't getting all the NIL money that they thought they deserved, but it worked out in their favor. So pulling all the right strings, Arkansas Slim, as he always does.
He's a powerful man.
He has influence beyond what you could even imagine. On to the next. Whew, Clemson.
Cool.
What? Y'all remember Clemson? It seems like it was so long ago. But yeah, just really just inept offensively. I mean, terrible at points. Like it was like shameful even.
Yeah, I mean it's so weird because like their defense, these were the first touchdowns their defense gave up all year. Like they shut down Georgia, they played some scrub in between them. They shut down, I think it was Georgia Tech last week, who they're also not very good either. But these are the first points they gave up. But man, their offense is just so bad. It's like, was Trevor Lawrence really like that good? Like, should he be in the goddamn Hall of Fame like already?
Apparently, yes. Just retire his number now. And I'm not even going to do myself the disservice of trying to pronounce the current quarterback's name. But when Trevor had COVID, he was out for a couple games last year. He looked pretty good. So he looked okay. I was like, all right, well, Trevor's going to leave. Obviously, he knows he's going to be the number one pick.
Yeah, they had that game at Notre Dame where he put up like 45 points.
So yeah, the assumption was we're just going to keep this rolling. Like we're still going to be Clemson. Like defense still going to be there, whatever. But all the 5-star, 4-star guys we have, but the drop off has been real. I don't know why. It's just tough look for Clemson and really the ACC in general.
Oh, the ACC in general is I think they have one undefeated team left, and that's Wake Forest. So yeah, ACC looking real tough. But it's funny. For all the talk there has been of this second loss kind of eliminates. Yeah, there we go. For all the talk that there's been about this pretty much eliminates Clemson from the playoff picture. I don't think so. Like I think this could be a weird year where we have a 2-loss team in, and just because Clemson is Clemson, like the committee will keep them in if they can. So I don't necessarily buy into the thought that this eliminates Clemson entirely. I think they will need a 3rd loss to be completely eliminated, even though they absolutely wouldn't deserve a spot right now.
Yeah, I kind of hold that same dread in the back of my mind because I know where you're coming from with this, but at some point they got to blow somebody out. Like they got to just score like over 35 points in a game. Like do something that's like, okay, well maybe you could threaten a real team. Like this is bad. This is real bad.
Yeah, no, it's their offense is really awful. Like NC State. Look, I know it says they're 3-1. They're not a powerhouse. Like NC State will probably lose at least 2 conference games this year in an ACC that is just like.
I think
stupid.
That's conservative. Yes.
Like the ACC is dumb. Like there's not any good teams, and man, it's just like I can't explain what Clemson is doing right now. It's amazing.
And then I'm going to skip over on the list. Thank you, StreamYard. To the next one, just due to significance reasons. But
sure.
The Cyclones of Iowa State go down to Baylor. Man, the first half was rough, especially for Iowa State. But hey, Baylor. I don't know if they're ranked now. They might be 4-0 in the Big 12, or what's left.
Yeah, I believe Baylor is currently ranked. Like disappointing for Iowa State. Like they had massive hopes. They've had a really good program the last 3-4 years. Like really got showing up, putting up, whatever 10-2 records, 9-3, beating some good teams. But starting the year 2-2, losses to Iowa and Baylor. Rough start. They had Heisman hopes for Breece Hall. Actually, the last 2 weeks, Breece Hall's like finally kind of coming around, but just not get it done. And look, I mean, maybe we got to start paying attention to Baylor. Like maybe Baylor's back on the upswing.
I was gonna make an Art Browse joke, but I'm not going to. I'm not going to. Well, I won't stoop that low yet.
Run it by our legal department first. Make sure we're
okay. No, I don't know if that's gonna get us canceled or not. So I don't want to risk it. This one, which looked great for the under. At halftime, I was like, under all day. But Notre Dame just all gas, no brakes in the fourth quarter. Especially, some turnovers. Wisconsin's quarterback, I forgot what the guy's name is, but he just looked like
terrible.
He was seeing ghosts out there. I mean, he was afraid to throw it. He kind of looked like what Big Ben looks like now. So,
oh God,
it was rough. I mean, Notre Dame does have a pretty good defense. You're always kind of wondering offensively if they could get the points up there, and then. The fourth quarter is a little misleading. I mean, yes, this ended up being a blowout, but at halftime, this was like, this is exactly what I thought Notre Dame, Wisconsin would look like.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you can credit to Notre Dame. They're still undefeated. They wound up making the score a big gap, but I'm still not sold on them. I think this is really more condemning Wisconsin than anything, maybe I'm also saying that because Michigan's playing them this upcoming weekend, although Michigan had their issues with Rutgers. Well, I can't believe I just said that. But yeah, I mean, I'm still not sold on Notre Dame. The thing is, they might run the table because their schedule, if you look at it, is not that tough. So it might be a case of Notre Dame goes into the playoffs undefeated and then plays actual competition in the first round against mollywopped. Wisconsin, as is tradition, yes. But Wisconsin not looking good, man. Rough start to the year. Just amazing how bad their offense is. Like you would think, if nothing else, they would get their run game going because that's what Wisconsin does, but they can't even really seem to do that this year.
Yeah, Wisconsin, I mean, you always at least at the offensive and defensive line just have some absolute animals.
Yeah,
but then you just run and stuff the run. But I don't know what's going on. It's hard times over there. And then the shock result of the weekend.
Galvez, I hope you're not watching.
Yeah, look away. Minnesota favored by, I believe, 31.5.
Ooh.
And not only do they just missed the cover. Just barely missed. But
Bowling Green with the backdoor cover.
Who has been wildly inept for
so
two seasons running.
So bad.
On the road, goes in and just beats you guys. Like, what is happening?
Yeah, it's like you look at Minnesota in that first game of the year where they gave the Buckeyes everything they could handle, and then they turn around and they're losing to not just a bad MAC team, but just one of the worst teams in the country. A team that lost to Akron at the end of last year, and Akron is awful. Not a good look for Minnesota, man. That's their schedule's not going to get any easier. I'm not saying the Big Ten is the powerhouse they used to be, but Big Ten's a lot better than Bowling Green. I'll say that.
But yes, I would say pretty much everyone in the Big Ten is better than Bowling Green. Actually, I will say that with certainty. I will put my name on that. So, it's all uphill from here. Good luck, boys. Come on, Gophers. But moving out of the college ranks, should we go pro, or I do want to do some Ryder Cup, but let's go. Let's hit the pro ranks, and then let's go Ryder Cup, and then Fight Doctor to close it out.
Sounds good.
All right. So Sunday, Buffalo finally showed up as the Bills that we expected to see all along. Washington, I don't know if it was like a misleading thing because look at the Giants now, but just did not look good. I mean, I love Heineken Light over there or Bud Light. at this point because due to sponsorship reasons.
Taylor Bud Light, yes.
Yeah. But Buffalo just dominated them. And if you were fortunate enough to have Josh Allen as your fantasy quarterback, I believe he had 5 total touchdowns. So depending on the format, could be looking at like a 40-point day.
Yeah, not much else to say. Like Washington, their defensive line last year just couldn't be stopped, and this year they just kind of can't really get to quarterbacks. It's I don't know. It's real surprising what's going on there. Antonio Gibson finally got a touchdown for them, but it wasn't even rushing. It was I think like a 73-yard reception that he made a great play on and turned it into a touchdown. But kind of didn't have the highest hopes for Washington, but expected them to be competitive, and they just haven't really been that. So tough luck, but nice to see the Buffaloes come around and to be the high-powered offense that everybody expected them to be.
And, I mean, if you take the long view, they're still 2-1. I know it was kind of disappointing that first week, especially now that we see what these Steelers have become or have disintegrated into. But we'll get to that a little bit later on. But, look, 3 weeks, you're sitting at 2-1. I thought if the Eagles were to win this game tonight, that would be huge for Washington, for the football team. But now you're kind of in the abyss. You're down there with the trash, which is... Sorry, Nick, the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I don't know. I mean, Dallas is clearly the best team in that division, but unlike our good friend No ID Justin, I don't have them pegged, to have 13 wins, maybe closer to, 10-ish. So, I mean, it's not out of complete possibility for Washington to compete there, but they haven't done themselves a favor with the start they've had. And
we have seen every team in this division get stupidly hot or stupidly just go in the tank for a month. Mm-hmm. So it's still, anything is possible, as they say. Going on to the next game, which was, questionable. I don't know. I know a lot of people are really, really giving Matt Nagy a hard time. And some of that, yes, I do agree with. The Bears just aren't very good. No. Certainly not really doing your rookie quarterback any favors, kind of throwing them to the gauntlet that is Myles Garrett, Jadeveon. I mean, the Browns, even the secondary is pretty good. Like, it's not like a walkover defense by any means, but this was a bloodbath. I mean, this was bad. I saw at a certain point, I think the Browns had like 179 yards passing, and the Bears literally had passing. This is just passing, -2 yards. So that was.
I saw if you combined the passing yards and the yards lost from sacks, they finished with 1 passing yard.
They got 1. So
they got 1. It's a positive, right? It's a positive.
If these trends hold, I mean, watch out. 350 weeks from now. They'll be killing it.
Yeah, look, I mean, I've made my criticisms of Justin Fields known on here just because I'm not buying into the hype. But at the same time, you're right. They did him no favors. Like, this Chicago offensive line got absolutely eaten alive. They gave him no time whatsoever. Like, I was trying to think about it. Like, Chicago, I mean, they've ran the ball fairly well. They kind of usually run the ball fairly well, but, like, they haven't really had a great offensive lineman since Olin Kreutz, and that was like 10, 11 years ago. So, I mean, they got so many issues. In Cleveland, again, good defense, obviously some great defensive linemen, and they just feasted, man.
I thought, I mean, the only thing, like, I'm not sitting here calling for Matt Nagy's head. I don't care that much anyway about the Bears, but, like,
right.
Maybe let's get some run plays for Fields. Like, he's just dropping back and looking at like 3 guys, like, just like getting smashed into the ground every time. Like, it was insane.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, try to do something to at least let them roll out and buy a little bit of time. I mean, look, they're not going to face. I haven't looked at their immediate schedule, but I can't imagine they're going to face a team with as great a defensive line as Cleveland coming up. So maybe you can start working Fields and giving some better reps then. But we'll see.
Well, I believe that takes us actually a nice segue to next week when they do play the Detroit Lions. Who are going to be very desperate, looking to bite some kneecaps and just get loose because and look,
God.
I mean, the Tucker
Oh my
thing,
God.
that is literally a once in a lifetime. In fact, it's only happened once ever thing that happened at the end. 66-yard field goal to walk it off that hit the crossbar and went in. But
Hit the crossbar, went straight in the air, and then fell over.
I mean, that was just Lionsing very hard. But then, they let Lamar convert on the 4-19 or whatever it was, and then the referees missed what appeared to be an obvious delay of game before the kick. But man, I just at that point I was like, ooh, like watching Red Zone, like, come on, Lions. But then when Tucker got out there, and I was not even thinking he was going to make that kick. I was like, if anyone could make it, it's him.
Sure.
And of course he did in spectacular fashion. But man, what just a wild ending to that game.
Yeah, just a massive kick in the dick, unfortunately, in a long-running series of massive kicks in the dick to Lions fans. You know what? I will give them this. In 2 of the 3 games they've played this year, I think they've been really competitive, which is more than you can usually say for Lions fans.
Though. Like,
well, I think
they have they have like 7 or 8 games a year where they're like, we were right in it, but we still lost. We still got swept by the Packers. We still got swept by the Vikings. Like,
I feel like this year, more than at least the last couple years, they've been way more competitive. I'll tell you this much right now, with their current form and Chicago's next current form, spoiler for Friday, might be taking the Lions.
I'm taking the Lions completely in that game, especially given of course, Fields is questionable because he got the crap beat out of him. But then it's all right, well, Dalton can't really run around. And then it's Foles is your other guy. So, like, pick your poison.
Let's just line all 3 of them up back there. Just you don't know who the center's going to snap it to.
The super wildcat. Never heard anything like this ever before. Arizona goes on the road to Jacksonville. Jacksonville looked okay at the beginning, and they got the are we really surprised? Actually, I will say this in defense of Cliff. Oh, we love Cliff. His guy did hit a long field goal the week before. But this is the possibility that you open yourself up to against NFL athletes when you go for I believe it was like 68 yards.
68 yards.
All right, well, the clock's going to run out. Like, maybe he gets it, maybe he doesn't. You go into halftime tied. But no, the kick 6 from Jacksonville.
Even if he makes that, let's just say he somehow makes a 68-yard field goal. That's honestly a stupid call. Like, it's 7-7 going into halftime. Like, he's probably not going to make that, in which case all you're doing is giving the ball to the other team with a ton of space.
Clearly you have a better team. If you go into halftime tied, like, come on. Like, we got it.
Well, not only that, but in that play in the moment, you're giving the ball to the other team with a ton of space, and you've got like 9 offensive linemen on the field. Like, that's asking for disaster. You either just go for a Hail Mary or kneel it and say, okay, we go into halftime 7-7, whatever. Like, it's just to play. Obviously, it didn't matter. Jacksonville, I believe that was the 3rd quarter, tried running a flea flicker that was just absolutely awful, or it threw to somebody in the secondary who returned it for 6. Arizona got it together in the second half. Jacksonville, ever since tweeting not satisfied with 1-0, has not won a game.
No, that's one of those old takes that's gonna be dug up forever.
I wonder if they're gonna tweet out, actually, 1-0 was kind of nice. It was pretty nice, wasn't it?
That would have been great. And I will defer to you, sir. Shout out. Big win. I know there was a lot of Chargersing at the end, but
oh boy, was there.
Look, in the words of a certain team, just win. Just win.
Oh, you're right. No, you're absolutely right about that. Like, got to be happy with it, especially going into Kansas City. Never the easiest place to play. Chargers forced 2 picks, including a no-look pick from Mahomes. That was weird, but okay. A couple fumbles as well from Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Justin Herbert, 4 TDs. The Chargers
stud.
At the end of the game, they were doing everything to both win and lose the game. They
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah, simultaneously they were like, "I like the aggression," but then also like, "What are you doing? Like, what? Why would you do that? Like everything. Like, okay, be aggressive, but like, you don't even have to do that right now. What? Why?"
Look, yeah, Staley is the complete polar opposite of Anthony Lynn. Like in a lot of ways, it's great, and in some ways, I'm like, oh God. But no, look, second week in a row, they've had a touchdown taken back by an illegal shift penalty, which like those never get called, and the Chargers get it twice in 2 weeks. And then again at the end of the game, they're driving, they're deep in Kansas City territory, game's tied. They're within the 20. The Chargers can just run the ball once, take a timeout, kick a game-winning field goal. But I think that's part of it is Staley's like, no, I've seen the special teams the last 15 years.
I did
we are not
agree
doing
with that. He had the vision. He was like, if this comes down to a kick, something bad is going to happen. We're going all the way.
So they start throwing the ball inside the Chiefs' 20. It worked out. Mike Williams is, I think I texted both you and Justin, he's finally starting to look like the guy they hoped he would be when they drafted him. And then when I thought about that, I looked up his contract and realized he's in a contract season, so that makes perfect sense. But Chargers hang on and get the win, man. I mean, look, it says a lot about Kansas City when they have 4 turnovers and they're still in it at the end of the game. But getting a win in Kansas City, never easy. I will take that 100% of the time.
Completely. And I think Thomas actually, now current coworker, but also a longtime friend of the program, pointed out first time under 500 since 2015. So
that's true.
Man, I hate you guys. I hate you guys so much. And anyone that goes into Kansas City and wins, that's my team for the weekend. So shout out to the Chargers.
Also, Justin Herbert 2-1 against Kansas City. The one loss was a crazy second half comeback that went into overtime. Where Kansas City won the game.
Is a problem for me because he looks like an absolute champ. I mean, this guy looks unbelievable. So you got a good one there. You know, cross that bridge on Monday. We'll see what happens.
Sure.
Because
next week's show is gonna be weird.
My own personal upsetting feelings about the Raiders defense. We'll get there. On to the next one. Jameis is back. Jameis is fully back. And so next week, if you
he will not be back. Yeah,
bench him in fantasy because it's probably got 4 picks coming. The other
actually, no. You know what? Jameis is like Texas. Whether good or bad, he's always back.
He's Jameis, and he's always back.
Yeah.
Never going to feel bad for the Patriots, especially losing at home. But just considering what we had seen, like from week 1 to week 2, like, oh, Jameis he's still just being Jameis. And of course, he goes in there and like balls out in the first half. Kamara was finally getting loose for your fantasy owners out there. So really hard to get a read on this Saints team, but we'll see what happens with them.
Yeah, I mean, it's like Jameis is kind of like the opposite. Like we always say about Teddy Bridgewater, he's not going to win you the game. He's not going to lose a game. Jameis will win you the game, or he will lose you.
He's going to decide it one way or the other. Yeah. Like it comes down to one man.
He is the key factor in every game, and this week it happened to work out. I know there's already some talk about Mac Jones. You know, is he the guy in New England? Like I don't think he was terrible. He's a check down passer so far, and honestly, Jonnu Smith had like 6 tips that like one wound up going back for a pick 6. Jonnu Smith, who they signed for $50 million in the offseason, has been absolutely terrible this year. I'm not huge on Mac Jones. I never huge on like a Alabama or Ohio quarterback. Period. Do I think he's the guy? No. Do I think he's the reason why they lost? No. I mean, like you said, I'm not going to cry about New England losing either. So it is what it is.
Well, Belichick obviously made his bed, and again, I don't really disagree with the giving Cam his release because Cam still wants to start or get on with some team somewhere, and it would just be a weird fit to have him as a backup, even if he is in his twilight years. So if you're going with the guy, you're going with the guy. But, wow, that adds a lot of intrigue to the next Patriots game against Tom Brady coming back in there. Because I feel like he's going to be hell-bent on getting like 8 touchdowns against Belichick.
Brady's
and the rookie guy. So good luck. Good luck. Hey, all power to you guys. But in that case, I might actually sympathize. Like Patriots, God bless you. Whatever happens, Yeah. I hope
Godspeed.
it works out. Yeah, Godspeed. On to the next one.
Ooh, game of the week.
Game of the week.
Game of the week.
As CEO Nick described it, a get-right game, get right straight to last place. Oh, boy. Can't be losing to the Falcons at home. I know it was kind of a walk-off field goal, but still, I mean, the Falcons, they are woefully inept, and the Giants clearly are even more so inept.
Yeah, this one was just one of those games that doesn't pop up much on your red zone, and you don't expect it to pop up much on the red zone. So it was. The thing weren't the Giants up 14-0? Like, didn't they have a? Did they give up 17 straight points to the Falcons? Because I feel like the Giants were up for part of the game, for most of the game, and then all of a sudden Atlanta took the lead and got the walk-off field goal. So
I have to effort that one.
I mean, look, there's not much to say about this. Both teams stink. When I said a tie last week, I was genuinely rooting for that just because they're both so bad. I don't want either team to get a win.
Oh, this game was crying out for a tie, and it was the tie that we deserved but did not get.
Yes. Like, again, there's not much to say about the game. It's just both teams are so bad.
Agreed. Let's just leave it at that. It's best left unsaid and unseen, and never revisited ever again. But on to the next one.
Speaking of things that shouldn't be seen.
Yes, maybe Big Ben. I just want you to get a horse. Go live in the mountains somewhere. Don't bother anybody. You got a personality like a dead moth. But look, Ben, I'm not going to disparage. He's got the pedigree. He's probably going in the Hall of Fame.
He's a Hall of Famer, yeah.
But man, it is looking like I texted you and no ID. It's like elder abuse. I mean, running him out there, he tripped over his own feet. He sacked himself, like trying to throw like 15 yards to the sideline. He's like really having to like get his whole body into it. It's just like, and I saw one of his like next gen like shot map things. He hasn't thrown a ball over like 20 yards in the middle of the field the entire season. It's bad. And his offensive line is bad too. Like, so it's him just getting whooped, and he already kind of looks like he's in pain, even if he's not. Just, I don't know, like his body type, whatever. But he, for sure, is in pain right now, tonight. I know he's watching. Sorry, Ben.
Well, he's definitely taking those Epsom salt baths for sure.
Oh, man, there's not enough Epsom salt in the world.
Probably getting in that machine that has the band that goes around your waist and just vibrates back and forth.
Yes, the hovering the hovering treadmill is the only way he can like walk more than 10 yards forward at this point.
Yeah,
Big Ben plays how Bill Belichick talks. At this point, God. Yes, that is.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, yeah, just absolutely awful. And look, Cincinnati, man. Look, I gave Jamar Chase so much shit because he wasn't catching anything in the preseason, and now he's got like 5 touchdowns, something like that. Like he is just him and Joey B are just lighting it up, man. Cincinnati's pretty fun. I don't think they're going to win the division. They might just be fighting to get 500, but they're a fun watch.
Yeah, you got weapons. I mean, again, Burrow's going to be kind of under, on the run at points during the season for sure. The offensive line has looked a little bit better than what we thought, but still, it is what it is. But this all pointed to me when I was watching it, and then some of the highlights. Dude, even like any NFL team, if you put them out there, even the Jets, like if they saw what Big Ben was looking like, you're like licking your chops. Like, they're just going to come beat the crap out of you. Like, Ben, it's time to hang it up, dude. It's time to lay down. Just don't get up. Don't get up.
I just remembered he's going to play Cleveland twice this year. Oh, that is going to be like that will genuinely be tough to watch. Like, Ron, I know you've made it clear you hate the Steelers, but like seeing somebody just get abused on the field,
I don't want to see him die. Yeah, like they better put that game on pay-per-view because they can't put that on free TV. That's not. They can't. That's gonna be violent.
But one positive for the Steelers, Najee Harris looked really good. I think I think we said it during our preview episode, whatever that was 6 weeks ago. Like, I like Najee Harris, the player. I don't like the system he's in, but he balled out. I think he had 19 catches this weekend, something crazy like that. He showed up. He's got a good future, but man, there's no way they stick with Ben after this year. Like, maybe they stick with him the rest of the year because they have nothing else. But you got to imagine they have to be looking quarterback in the draft. There's
Absolutely.
no other way.
You have to. And I will say this in defense of the very much hated Steelers. Tomlin still, I believe, has never had a losing season. And they're just one of those teams that always figures it out and remains somewhat relevant. So if they can get some kind of like power run game going, I could still see them getting like maybe 500-ish. But yeah, this like letting Ben just slinging around 40 times a game or try to desperately like this. No, this is not. We got to change it up. This is not happening.
It's a shame. I really do like Tomlin. I think Tomlin's a great dude, and he can see the future with how big his eyes are.
Massive.
But yeah, he's gonna have to work. I know he's worked miracles with kind of keeping some, shall we say?
Is Tommy Maddox still available? Because this could be the time. Bring him in.
Excuse me, XFL MVP Tommy Maddox. Give him the proper respect.
So you want a guy with pedigree coming in there that can command the huddle.
That's right.
Let's get to the afternoon window. Sorry to laugh at your misfortune, but not sorry.
Not sorry.
Tennessee, I mean, this was, unfortunate for Indy, but kind of a must-win for both teams. Tennessee got that win. Indianapolis, man, 2 sprains Wentz just continues to be the wild, irresponsible man that he is. Going all over the place, trying to do too much all the time. I don't know how this works out. The defense that we thought they were going to have, that they usually, from season to season over the last 5 to 7 years, they do have, it's just not coming together quite yet. And it's just tough times in Indy.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give Indy some leeway. They've had a pretty tough schedule to start the year: Rams, Seahawks, Titans. Those are definitely 3 teams that I think a lot of people at least have pegged as playoff contenders, if not in the playoffs. So I got to imagine their schedule is going to get a bit easier. Maybe that's when they start getting the wins together. But they got to figure out what's going on with 2 sprains because, I'll tell you what, they could have really used Jacoby Brissett. They really could have used him.
Bet your ass. He looked great. He looked like a world beater against another team that we'll get to in a second. But we'll move on from that game. Good luck to both teams going forward. And also, I will say last thing, I did like seeing Tannehill just take off and run sometimes because hasn't looked great throwing it this year. It's been, like all the talk was like, wow, now he's got 2 weapons out here to throw to. Obviously, you got Henry, and it just hasn't come together. But they made it work, so we'll see what happens there. The Jets, Broncos cover that, which I believe was at one point 12.5. But according to CBS, 10.5. I don't know, maybe that's when the game started. But the Jets, wow, the Jets. I mean, just wow.
Yeah, they're not good. There's no other way to put it. They are not good. In that, I also will say that to Denver. Denver doesn't make their schedule. They're that's not in their control. But they're 3-0 against the Giants, the Jaguars, and the Jets, who are combined 0-9. This tells us nothing about.
There is something to be said about beating the teams that you should beat. They always circle back to that, like, we let that game go. So you got to play a team in front of you, and they're beating all the crappier teams than them. So,
sure, I agree with that. And yes, there's something to be said about that because yes, we all have seen that not everybody beats the teams they should beat. But I also think we know nothing about Denver. We know absolutely nothing about them because they've been playing glorified college teams for the first 3 weeks. So they play Baltimore this week. Now we'll finally start to learn something more about Denver.
Well, will we? Because we move on to the next game, where the Raiders did not cover, by the way, which was part of a certain parlay that I had, and at home. against the backup quarterback Jacoby Brissett-led Dolphins, who were kicking their ass completely in the first quarter.
You put some respect on that man's name.
You know what I will say? And there was a little PTSD from last year's game when they played the Dolphins.
Oh, that's right.
Fitzmagic. But Brissett, he slings it, dude. He could throw hard as hell.
Oh, yeah.
So when it got down to that, it's really probably like I don't know, not even 2 minute drill. Like, he's ripping them. And in the middle of the field, the Raiders, it's just nightmare. Like, it's a nightmare. This is not what you want. Like, if we do not get to the quarterback, it's going to be bad news. A couple talented guys, although Mullen, who did get hurt in the overtime, made a great play in the overtime also to break up like a 60-yard pass. But the entire time I was like, we wouldn't be in overtime if you didn't get burned and have to take pass interference in the end zone and put the ball on the 1 yard line that caused us to be in overtime. But just win, baby. Carr didn't look great, but he looked okay, keeping his MVP race alive.
Who was, I forgot, who was running the ball for you guys? Because I know Jacobs wasn't playing.
It was Peyton Barber.
That's right, Peyton Barber. That's right. Yeah, I thought, look.
The legend.
Yes, that's right. Bucs legend, Peyton Barber. I mean, look, I was mostly watching this one on Red Zone, so whatever came was what came up. But like you said, man, just win 3-0. Look, I think Miami is. I still think they're better than what their record indicates. Like, I know if they got the shit kicked out of by Buffalo, obviously they lose a close one here. Maybe they stick with Brissett for the rest of the year. I thought Brissett looked awesome. I definitely think they should stick with him at quarterback over Tua. Look, your Raiders, like you said, man, they did enough to get the win.
I just kind of wonder now if Tua goes to like a different, like a modified version of Josh Rosen status, where and yes, Baron, I did not forget that, and it was terrifying. I believe that's maybe the second time this year.
Wasn't that the play right after what's his face got hurt? Because I think wasn't that a 3rd and 20? He got hurt, and they gave up that 4th and 20 to Gesicki down the sideline.
Yes, right to the stick. It was fantastic defense drawn up by the Raiders. Probably the one part on the field that you want to defend, but no, let's just give them the free first down and let them go out of bounds. It was great. It was great.
Look, think about it this way, man. In years past, your Raiders would have absolutely lost that game.
Last year, they lost that. They literally lost that game.
That's true. Look, last year is a year's
couldn't even
past,
see.
Right?
This helmet was turned around backwards, and he hit like a 30-yard dime. So, hey, we're making strides. It's coming.
That's right, man.
Hey, knock on wood if you're with me, man.
Hey, and look, next Monday we got the Kings, the Battle of the Kings.
Oh boy, the first leg of the Kings Classico. Can't wait.
That is going to be like, should we even do that show? Like, should we actually be on air for that?
The only format that I want is if Justin comes on as moderator while we progressively get madder and madder at our own teams. See what that game devolves into.
I also said in our text, if we're going to get one tie this year, it will be between the Raiders and the Chargers.
It was meant to be. It was meant to be.
But both teams will do some really stupid plays to cause penalties at the end of the game, and it'll end up in a tie.
And I feel bad. I know we're running a little long, but I do want to hit the Ryder Cup. Yeah, who cares? It's whatever. It's ain't for you. It's for me. Big rim for the Rams. I'm not a big McVay guy. Always, never have been a big Stafford guy, but this just adds to the legend of, annoyingly, like, man, he would have been like the greatest quarterback of all time if he was on the Lions. Like, you could have gone off the Lions, dude. And you had Megatron. But I digress. Nice win for them. Never sad about seeing Brady lose, and just adds more fuel on that straight up like bonfire of him going back to New England next week. So maybe for all parties, the best possible outcome.
All parties, unless you're New England. Yeah, no, you're right. Brady's going to come out pissed off next week, so he's probably going to look to. I think he was already looking to put a whooping on New England, and now this just adds to it. As far as the Rams go, look, man, can anybody cover Cooper Kupp? Apparently not. He's apparently the greatest wide receiver of all time now.
Yeah, he's just getting loose all the time. Wait, he had 2 touchdowns? 3? 2.
I think it was 2 touchdowns, but just a ton of catches. Like nobody near him. Yeah, they look Rams looking great, man. 3-0, can't argue it. Tampa Bay, they'll be fine. They'll still be massive contender at the end of the year. Yeah, not much else to say.
And last thing I will say is I was pissed off. They kept cutting back to that on Red Zone. I was like, it's over. Well, Brady still got like 2 minutes left. He's only down by 17. I'm like, all right, dude. In this case, I get it, Brady magic, but it's over. Can we go back to the Raider game, please? I need to see what's going on. But it worked out for everyone. So anyway, we move on. Minnesota getting the big win at home, despite the absence of Cook, which my fantasy team was definitely feeling the brunt of that.
Madison's a great backup, dude. Alexander Madison's proven he's a really good backup.
And when they both got the long hair, it's like you can't even tell. So it's even more frustrating.
Can't even tell the difference. Yep.
More frustrating as a fantasy owner. Like, oh, I think that was like 25 yards. Oh, it was the other guy. Crap.
Yeah, I mean, look, hey, props to Minnesota. We've both talked massive shit about them the last couple weeks. I'm still not necessarily sold on them because just Seattle can, as good as they can be, they can also be a massive two-headed monster. So, but credit to them getting the win at home over a pretty good team.
And also Red Zone, you stayed with that game way too long as well. But
that they do, yeah.
I move on to this ended up being a good game. I only got to see bits and pieces of it. We're out at the family barbecue. But 49ers took their first lead of the game with like 40 seconds left. Rodgers, no timeouts, just goes down the field. I think he completed all of 2 passes. That with the middle of the field was like but he made the throws he had to make. And it adds to the legend of A.A. Ron.
Yeah. I mean, you're absolutely right. Like, he was just awesome. Definitely questionable if, whether Devontae Adams should have been in the game. But when we see the 2 guys waiting outside the blue tent, if there's a line outside the blue tent, that's it's not good. It's not good for anyone. My theory on that was the NFL said, hey, if you don't test him, he can't fail. So just put him back out on the field. We can wipe our hands, wash our hands of the whole situation.
He knew what year it was. All right, he's good.
Look, we asked him what the day was. He got it within 7 days. That's part of our protocol. That's okay. We asked what day it was. He said Thursday. That's within 7 days. We're good. So yeah, look, questions whether he should have been out there at all, but he still made those big catches on those nice, just great passes from Rodgers. Tough beat for the Niners, but like Rodgers is, after the disastrous week 1, Rodgers is starting to come back around to what we expect him to be.
Yeah, and you know what? I will say, even though I'm not by any means a Jimmy G fan, put together a nice drive there at the end.
He did.
Again, kind of making the throws he had to make. Rodgers just kind of Rodgers them at the end by hitting the clutch throws that they had to get in the field goal range. And it was still, it wasn't a chip shot. It was like a 50-yard field goal for Crosby. So props to him for nailing it. But as we move on from the football to the golf ball, golf
Let's do it.
has come home. Golf home where it rightfully belongs, in its place amongst kings.
Among kings.
Oh man, this was just extremely entertaining. And shout out to NBC also, because their presentation of it was great. The fans are always rowdy there, so that that interaction part was great as well. But the way they had the scoreboard on, which was like, all right, actual points scored, and then the live, like, if it ended right now, scores, made it a lot easier to follow than sometimes where you're kind of like, oh, I got to check my phone. Like, who's winning the 1-on-1? Who's winning the 4-ball? Like, So it was just like shot for shot, back to back. And USA, man, we got some ballers out there. And we all knew what was going to happen. I guaranteed it on this program because Coach Phil came through hot.
Who is ready to ball? This guy.
And ball he did. And even, like, I know the big, like, side distraction story was Brooks Bryson, which Strick came out afterwards and said, hey, they were even willing to play with each other. Like, I got all these guys just in the foxhole, like, we're just trying to win this thing, take it back. And, I mean, everyone just showed out. It was great. Like, all 3 days, we just kicked their ass. Like, it was incredible. First 2 sessions on Friday and Saturday. In the individual rounds, I thought was great too because they end up winning 19-9 and set the record. Mm-hmm. So even then, when it's like heads up, everyone was just going for it. I mean, and even like low key guys like Scotty Too Hottie Scheffler, Patty Ice, No Hat Pat. I mean,
Cantlay didn't lose a match this weekend. He won all 4 of his matches.
DJ 5-0, which I don't think he realized, but they presented him with that when he was a little saucy at the press conference, which was great. In fact, you have some video of that.
You being the oldest player on the team, do you think you still have the stamina to out-party all these guys tonight? Absolutely. Next question.
I mean, really the best part of winning the Ryder Cup. I mean, even like, the European guys, they wanted to win. Obviously it's different. Like they're playing this for no money. Like this is just purely like teaming up with other guys that you're going, shot for shot with every week, just trying to win. But this thing is a whole different thing. This is not for money. It's just for winning that trophy, which is not even an impressive trophy. It's like I believe I saw someone said after researching, we're pretty sure this guy bought it at a store somewhere, like the original one that still remains. But man, moments galore all weekend long. I know we saw I think I had the picture here somewhere. Maybe it got taken out of Bryson shooting the gap, going over the gallery, 417 yards. Just like the best of everyone came out. The DJ Morikawa pairing was great because those guys are just in the same mold of like no emotions and just like that already has to like fluster you as the other team. Just like, dude, these guys are just rolling me up. They're not even reacting. Like,
yeah,
like let me get something out of this guy where I can like pick on him, and they're just like, good shot. But then like Scheffler chest bumping DeChambeau on the green, like Scheffler never really like gets crazy like that. And then, I love this also. This was yesterday. So note the yardage, note the club. I think this is more of a 9-iron for me. 217 yards.
Is my pitching wedge out there? Let me get that here.
Yeah, I don't want to fly past it. Like if I get the 7-iron out, this is gonna be insane. This is like my 3-wood, by the way. So DeChambeau.
Also, DeChambeau looking slim, man. He's looking pretty svelte, I think.
Hey, I'm glad that there was a great quote that I saw in in that same press conference, the now legendary sloppy press conference. Also, I know Shoffley had a great quote. He was like, "Oh man, I didn't even know we had to do media after this." So I was already like pretty wasted. He was like sliding down hills, smoking a cigar, like single fisting like a bottle of champagne. USA, dude, it has come home. There you get a good look at Shoffley there. And yeah, that would be me if I broke 100 on a local muni. But just living life, living big life. No Hat Patty Ice. He's got 2 beers in the back pocket. He's got one in his hand. This is when it's already wrapped up. Morikawa, man, what can you say? That guy is just an absolute monster. 24 years old. Hovland also. Like I loved seeing them in the last like heads up pairing on Sunday, and it did deliver because that was a half. You know, they tied.
It was a half, yeah.
But Morikawa, the shot he hit on 17 was like he rolled it up to like 2 feet. Like that was like really the clincher. So like it's just every single shot, like everything was going USA. Like everyone was all on board for the cause. I loved it.
Yeah, it's so weird. Like, I don't know if this is just kind of like, you know, based off like all the teams I root for. I always have that sense of dread in the back of my head. Honestly, after Friday, I was like, dude, the US has this. Like it's not even a question. Everybody on this team is just playing at a ridiculous level right now. Coach Phil out there he's getting freaking Brooks and Bryson to hug each other. Like, this dude is ending wars out here. Like, Coach Phil,
but we got a ceasefire for the weekend between these guys that freaking hate each other.
It's just again, just an unreal performance. And I know we were texting a little bit about it earlier. Like, it's so nice to realize like the U.S. is probably going to dominate at this for a while now. Like, I know the rest of the world has kind of been owning the Ryder Cup, but the U.S. now has been like, okay, like, screw getting these guys that are like, 40 years old and, been on the tour for 20 years. Like, we've got all these great guys that are between like 22 and 27. Let's go with the youth. This is our team for like 10 years now.
Well, and the thing is too, Rahm is clear-cut #1 best golfer in the world. But then you go 2 through 7 All-Americans. So like at a certain point it's got to come together if we could just put it together.
Speaking of Rahm, I did clip this. This was just a great quote he had. Just talk about how insane the U.S. was. You see there, he had to play fucking amazing just to get to 16 in all his matches. So, I mean, that's just letting you know the level that the U.S. was playing at this whole weekend.
Dude, everyone was hitting shots. Shout out to Harry English, which I love this picture too. And this was actually he lost that match on Saturday, but 22 million made in his career, and this is his putter grip. Hey, but when you like what you like it.
Exactly. Yeah. If it works, don't mess with it.
And of course, old Phil getting retribution from Spieth, who he famously poured champagne in his mouth, I believe, at the President's Cup. God, and then also I like this too. We have to take this off the bottom real quick. So this is just like recaps from the whole thing, and there's some pretty funny stuff in there. Scotty Scheffler, he was pretty jacked up for a few moments. He did a pretty good job keeping us loose. I think yesterday Bryce and I lost 12. We went one down, and Phil was standing on the next tee, and he just goes, "Man, isn't this great?" And in my mind, I was like, "Phil, get out of here, dude! Like, what?" But that's just what he was doing the entire time.
Amazing.
That's why we needed old Phil. And
Amazing.
then Stricker goes, "Anything Phil said this whole weekend, I can't repeat it." So, not the coach we deserve, the coach we get.
Coach we need.
Absolutely.
For sure. Yeah, look, we've been gushing about old Phil for months now on here. I mean, just look, I would run through a brick wall for that man. Like, his speeches are fantastic.
Dude, the speeches, the general disposition of just like, is this guy for real? Like, I don't even know. But like golf being so mental, it's just like, all right, Phil, dude, get away from me. Like, that's why I love that quote. Like, no, dude, get out of here. Like,
old Phil is kind of like a Ted Lasso, where he's just like, hey, man, it's all good. Don't even worry about it. It's fine, man. Just be happy to be out here.
No better gift than living in the moment. That's why they call it the present.
Exactly. Apple's next series is not Ted Lasso. It's just old Phil. And I will watch it. I will absolutely watch it.
Oh, I loved it. And also, in response to your question or comment, I mean, if you call in, maybe we will. And then just to cap off the Ryder Cup, of course, the moment of truth that everyone was waiting to see. And really, they did one, after the win was wrapped up, but it was kind of like, well, certainly awkward. I'm not going to say these guys are best friends or even friends, but with the boisterous, drunk enthusiasm of the press conference, while everyone's, already 3 sheets, I believe it was Thomas requested that Brooks and Bryson get up for a hug with the trophy. And I love the rest of the guys with the Brooksy. Hey, great job, Brooksy.
That almost just sounds like some like hockey chirping, really.
No, it is. I mean, it's just funny to see these guys that are like mentally freaks and also talent wise, and then team up, and it's like a like a hockey locker room kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's just like, all right, for this weekend, fuck it, we just got to beat these guys' ass, and that's what they did.
Yeah, I mean, look, I never thought I'd see Brooks and Bryce. Like, that was kind of the whole thing of this was like, do they have the balls to, like, pair these guys up? These two dudes that, like, just hate each other. Do they have the balls to pair them up? They never paired them up, but both dudes balled out, and they gave hugs at the end. Like, it was just something I didn't think I'd see, and it was fucking great.
Well, in hindsight, too, I think it would have still worked out if they had done that. I still agree. At the beginning of it, like, you can't put them together at the first round.
No, that's going to be a disaster.
The only thing anyone's going to talk about is like Brooks Bryson. Like, are they going to fight? Are they going to whatever? Like, but Stricker came out and he said they were willing to do it. Like, I just made that choice not to do it. So I thought the whole thing was great to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said earlier, come get them, world.
That's
come
right.
Get them.
Come and take it. Come and take it.
These colors don't run.
Damn right. Well, we'll talk about this, Justin. I mean, why? Why?
Oh man, just like that whole situation. I know we kind of talked about it the day it happened. It was a weird situation. Not much was known. So now it comes out that
Justin's got him at 15-2. By the way,
well, there we go.
Upgraded to 15-2.
But yeah, so it came out that the league was going to suspend Leo Collins for multiple missed drug tests. They were going to suspend him 5 days. The players' union came in, got them to negotiate down to 2 days. To which point in time, Leo Collins said, "Nah, you know what? I'm still going to dispute that." So in doing so, that caused this information to come out that he tried to bribe the drug test collector. So now the NFL said, "Nah, it's 5 games." So what a fucking idiot! That's all you can say is what a fucking idiot.
Last I checked, this was America.
Hey, you can bribe test them. You can do it. You can bribe them.
Did we lose a Ryder Cup or something? The hell's going on around here?
So yes, Dallas will be without Leo Collins for he will be serving the whole 5-game suspension. Not that it mattered tonight. I did see the final score, 41-21, Dallas beating up on Philly to. I mean, nobody's real surprised. Philly's
hit
not
the over.
Good.
Did hit the over.
It did hit the over. That's true. It did hit the over.
All right. Well, how much you got left? You want to hit the fight doctor here?
You know what? We can run through it real quick. Sure.
All right. Let's get to the fight doctor. We did have a pay-per-view over the weekend, which we do like to always check in with the fight doctor in matters such as these.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. The heavyweight champion of the world.
You're right, Justin. They called and it was a disconnected number.
Yeah, just this number has been disconnected.
But yeah, so we did have a pay-per-view this weekend, UFC 266. Pretty solid pay-per-view all around. Of course, it was being headlined by 2 title fights. We'll just jump right into the main event here. Alexander Volkanovski beating Brian Ortega by a unanimous decision. And I gotta say, I was a little bit surprised by the heat map. I didn't think Volk took as much damage as this shows. Ortega took an insane beating for a good part of 4 rounds. Volkanovski just outclassed him all the way, no question, except for probably a minute and a half in the 3rd round when Ortega, out of nowhere, knocked Volkanovski down, slapped on just a real deep guillotine choke. I'm talking when you looked at the top of Volk's head, it was just purple. I don't know how he survived it. He gets out, then maybe 30 seconds later gets slapped into a triangle choke. Again, his head turns bright purple. He still survived it. Don't know how. Gets out, and at that point in time, Ortega already taken a massive beating. Now, with 2, submissions that he held on for probably 40 seconds each, was just exhausted, could barely stand. Honestly, they actually probably should have called the fight then, because there is a rule that if a fighter cannot get to their feet at the end of a round, they need assistance. The ref's supposed to call it. Ortega couldn't get up without help. Herb Dean didn't call it.
Yep.
Herb. It's talk about
Herb
a fall from
Dean.
man. God, that dude used to be so good, and now he is just oh man. But look, Volk took care of business, man. He showed why he's the champ, absolutely outclassing Ortega. So no real surprise, I think, that he got the dominant win there. Just real quick, this did pop up on Twitter afterwards. Oscar De La Hoya commenting here on how Volkanovski should be getting paid more, as well as all the fighters, calling out Dana White. You can see there, have some respect for yourself, pay these fighters. Dana White, of course, just very, very calculated, just very measured, always thinks about what he's
measured
going to
response,
say.
very corporate answer.
Very corporate answer. So Dana, of course, did respond to that here. STFU, you crackhead. And then accusing him of faking having COVID to get out of his fight with Vitor Belfort.
For your hospital performance. Oh, my God.
Dana White,
this is a major commissioner of a major American sports league.
This dude goes to mass crazy high dollar board meetings with top 100 companies in the world. So
a publicly traded company, by the way.
They are publicly traded. This is true. So Dana, just being Dana, man. What do you expect? What would you expect? Especially, we all know the history of Dana and Oscar. So Dana, he's always going to give you something.
I think I saw too that he skipped out on the post-fight press conference while making that tweet, like he was not there.
He had to think about what he was going to say. That's why he couldn't
articulate STFU, you crackhead.
I'm picturing Dana putting on his reading glasses,
a monocle.
Should I? Yeah, should I comment on the hospital? Yeah, I think I will. But we'll just touch on the other two main events here. So we had another title fight here. Valentina Shevchenko just absolutely dominating Lauren Murphy to retain her title. Again, this one was never a question. You can see Shevchenko's picture has not even been altered. Looks exactly the same as it did before the fight. You could tell it was going to be over really quick early on. I've never seen this before in MMA. So Shevchenko threw a kick. Murphy caught the kick, and while she's holding Shevchenko's leg, Shevchenko just starts throwing punches at Murphy's face. Murphy's kind of oh shit, and drops her leg and backs out. I've never seen that before, but you could just tell in that moment, yeah, she's done. So Shevchenko, look, it's such a weird situation. There's the only fight for her left is Amanda Nunes, and Nunes has beaten her twice. So I'm kind of I don't know if it deserves a trilogy fight, but there's also no fight for either one. So weird situation, but yeah, Shevchenko's she's just a stud. It's amazing. Usually when you see people become champs and they clean out divisions, their skills kind of fall off a little bit. She's still getting better. It's incredible.
And thus how Dana will sell the trilogy fight.
There we go. Look, it's the fight to make, I think. So, and then just real quick here, the
always spicy Diaz brothers.
Nick Diaz, Robbie Lawler. Look, this was a very it's got mixed receptions to it. I kind of had high, even though like both guys are old. This is Diaz's first UFC fight in I think like 6 years. Both guys are old, definitely not nearly what they were. Maybe this is my fault for expecting too much out of Diaz. I was pretty let down by him. Like he threw 150 punches, but calling them significant strikes at all is, I think Justin had texted over the weekend like they're actually insignificant strikes. They were just like so like light and weak. And then Diaz did something I never thought I would see a Diaz brother do. He got knocked down by Lawler in the third round, and Diaz tapped on the ground and basically said, like, I can't do it anymore. And I'm never going to knock a fighter like when they're just getting beat, when they're just obviously getting beat. Like, I'm not going to knock a fighter. It's just like I can't do this anymore. Like, nothing good's going to come of it. But you just don't expect that from a Diaz brother. That's the thing.
Yeah, and just to agree with what you said, like a rematch 6 years in the making. Like this was just weird.
16 years in the making.
Well, yeah. So since Diaz's last fight, 6 years, but just kind of bizarre. Maybe Dana is the showman that he is. Putting on the fights that we all want to see or didn't know that we wanted to see.
Well, I think it was just also, I don't know if Diaz's heart was ever really in it, because like this was supposed to be a fight at 170, and then 3 days before, Diaz is like, I'm not going to make 170. We got to make this at 185. And credit to Lawler for just being like, yeah, all right, sure, whatever. Like, I don't got to do a weight cut now. So I don't think Diaz's heart was ever really in it. But,
well, and then like the Diaz brothers are notorious for, as soon as the fight ends, win or lose, just talking shit on the promotion. But the comments that Nick made was like, I don't know why this fight got made. And like, I already knew Lawler was in great shape when I saw him, but I'll show up and I'll bang whatever. Like talking himself out of the fight that was just done and sold to everyone. It was weird.
Yeah, it's a weird situation. And I'll be honest, like I love Robbie Lawler. He's been one of my favorites for as far back as I can remember. The first time I saw him, I was like, this dude is fucking awesome. I would almost like to see him end it with this, because he hasn't had a great run the last few years. And now you can go out on a win over a name. Like, people know Nick Diaz. So
yeah, a name rival also that you have a history with. So you could go out against a guy that you have previously fought with.
I would like, I wouldn't mind seeing go that way, but again, that's his decision. But overall, not a bad card. Pretty solid. Again, 2 title fights, both pretty one-side dominance. But not a bad Saturday night.
Well, there you have it. I did not get to see. I was at obviously Kiss Army, but
you saw some different fights. That's what you saw.
I saw some different kind of sparring. Or, just general fighting, combat. Blood was definitely spilled, sprayed, spit,
blood was
whatever.
spilled. Mm-hmm.
But a great weekend in sports. And again, Ryder Cup, just breathtaking.
Oh, baby.
I had to hit it one time.
Fuck what they're talking about. USA in this whole.
That's right. USA in this hoe. Please believe that. So thank you guys for joining us, hitting us up in the comments. Hope you had a good weekend as well. Enjoyed just a buffet of sports. It was great. But that's all I have. Tyler, anything else you got before we get out of here?
No, just thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, great weekend of sports. I know we haven't been on the last couple Wednesdays. I assume we'll be on Wednesday, but we'll see. If we are, great. We got MLB playoffs coming up soon, so there'll be stuff to talk about. Tentatively, we'll be here Wednesday.
Scheduled for Wednesday.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We love it. You guys know the drill. Keep the fire.